Hello everybody and welcome back. I guess you could say this is a two-parter of my video. Sorry for not uploading, but this project took me 5 or 6 days to work on. So welcome to this, I think, two-parter video of my talk about revival of Futurama. Because I've watched all 10 seasons, yes, all 10 of them, and I cannot wait to tell you what I did. I redesigned the characters, not all the characters of Futurama, and I think it went out pretty good, but not great. If you don't know what Futurama is, it's a 1999 series created by Matt Groening, who some of you know is the creator of Simpsons. And Disenchantment, my favorite series on Netflix, if you know what I mean. It's a 1999 series about main character Philip J. Fry, who used to be a delivery boy back in the past in 1999, the show's release date. And then he falls off the chair into the cryo chamber, and he teleports into the future, where he meets the Planet Express crew, Bender, Leela, Farnsworth, Zoidberg, and Amy. And Scruffy, but I don't care that much about him. And also Nippler is there joining the Planet Express crew. And it's a bunch of wacky adventures, there's a bunch of characters, and so many interesting planets. I mean there's a lot of great episodes, but not all of them are great. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. I think I like the episode called Stench and Stenchability and Silence of the Clamps. Nudge, nudge. So yeah, once I finished all of the seasons, I decided that I kind of want to remake the characters. Fun fact about season 6, all of the 4-parters are actually movies. I like Bender's Big Game because it reminds me of Disenchantment. It hits different than after watching those things. I'm telling you, go see for yourself. Anyways, since it's gonna be revived back in 2023, which is next year, I decided to remake the characters because, it was made in the 1990s. Because, old designs out with the old, in with the new. Anyways, these things are just reference art. I did not steal. I did a little practice sketch of what my style of macroning style would look like. It's alright, but I won't be using it that often. But if you want me to, that's fine. But let's get on with the speed paint. The first Futurama character I redesigned was Bender Rodriguez. He is an icon, for God's sake. But I changed him. I redesigned his antenna. I was a fan of the ring only, not the two-sided bunny ear reference. I gave him a 3-drawer side thing? What is that? I light bulbed his eyes a bit and blurred them. I gave him 4 fingers because I wasn't a fan of only 3 fingers, but that doesn't give me an excuse to add another finger. Bender has kind of a short color palette, I want to say, and I edited his visor. I colored in his cigar and his bottle because he's an alcoholic. He can't live without liquor.
No liquor? That's Vidania, comrade.
Next up, we have our main character, Philip J. Fry, but he's normally known as Fry, but I would call him Philip instead of his surname. Anyways, I didn't change that much, but I changed his hairstyle and I gave him a little streak because he is kind of getting older. And I edited his shoes. They were supposed to look like a ship, like Planet Express, and one of his jeans is ripped and his pants are rolled up. And one of his sleeves on his shirt, I had to make a reference to Kaito Momota from Danganronpa. And I added a little wedding ring, if you could see. And his iconic line is, "Shut up and take my money," from that one episode with the iPhone or iPad. I added little pockets, too. And I don't know if him and Leela are getting married, because I added the wedding ring. Yeah, I wanted to, because I feel like they would get married in my own opinion, or headcanon. Hopefully they get married. I don't know. Here's Philip. Next up, it be my boy Zoidberg. Actually, my favorite characters in the show. He's underrated. He's constantly hated by the Planet Express crew. Not all the time, but you know, I really did like Stench and Stenchability because it gave Zoidberg a happy ending. But I didn't change that much. Hopefully they got married. I changed his business suit. I gave him a tie, and I feel like I gave him hair because in that episode with the old Planet Express crew, he had hair in a flashback. It was actually white. Oh, and his lab coat has staples. Also, I tried to draw Hermes, but it is so hard. I could not, practically get a good reference. So I started off with Carol Miller, aka Mom. So we have the antagonist of the show, known as Kara Miller, aka Your Mom. Okay, that was a joke. This is the first time I've actually used actual body references, because drawing a full body covered in other bodies, it's complicated. But if you draw them one at a time, it's worth it. Anyways, I tried drawing Mom's hairstyle because it looked the first attempt looked like a football in her hair, but I didn't change that much, so I just changed it into a bun. Kept her lipstick. I gave her eyeshadow, but I did want to give her some fingernails, but no. I did give her a bra, and I gave her a bit of pants. I changed her shirt. I think I did her so dirty, but I did give her this collar, because she used to be Farnsworth's wife. Up next, we have Nippler. I'm not usually this much of a favorite of him. I gave him the four-finger treatment. I changed his diaper into his pants. In the picture, he's eating a dog instead of a cat. One thing I don't understand about the Nibblonians, why do they have a third eye? I mean, it's strange that nobody's comparing him to Oddfall, because he too has a third eye. Now we have Fry's girlfriend, Taranga Leela, or Leela as she's known in the show quite often. I didn't change much, but my expectations were she was going to have a piece of hair covering one of her eyes, but she's a Cyclops, so I lowered her bangs, and Leela has quite the color scheme. I changed her wristband, and she's quite my favorite redesign so far, because it's one of the first times I've ever drawn tie-dye. Since she's good into karate, I gave her some belts and a streak of hair like him, and X's on her boots, and her wristband is more sci-fi-ish. Now on to Scruffy. Like I said before, I don't care much about Scruffy. I dislike him personally. I mean, he's just the janitor. He barely appears anytime, anywhere. He should give the Zoidberg treatment in the show, because I gave him the Zoidberg treatment, because everybody hates Zoidberg, but I hate Scruffy, so I'm gonna do the same thing as them. I didn't change much. I changed his belt. I gave him hair because he's getting older. And I changed his pants to look them a bit darker and a bit navier. And I lowered his hat down. And I changed his broom because, yeah, he's a janitor. What else is he gonna do besides sweep, sweep, sweep? Now we're on to the guy with good news for everyone. Professor Hubert Farnsworth. He also invented a son named Hubert Farnsworth, but I did a little sketch, not to mention that I added a third eye just for a joke art. But I didn't change much because he has a lot of wrinkles, but his glasses have shade. I don't know why he has slippers, but I changed him into actual shoes and gave them, teeth. Next up is Amy Wong, one of my other favorite characters. I didn't change much. Her hair and her shirt looks fine, but it kind of looks like a bikini. I lowered it down. And I kind of changed, the color scheme. She is from Mars, and she lives with a rich family with a casino and a motel. Or just a casino. Anyways, she's a Fanran Roo of my other favorite character. I'm talking about Lieutenant Kip Croaker, first place of my favorite characters of Futurama. The redesign is inspired by one of Kuma the Hiluvu Insatiable's concept art. She was originally going to create a Futurama side story anime parody, but she decided to scrap it later. But the redesign is inspired by hers. Go check her channel out. I gave him a vest, I gave him socks, and I turned him into the human hybrid that he would soon become like Zoidberg. One thing I hate about this pairing is that I hate the prostitution infinity episode where they break up. I was not a fan of Amy X Bender. No thanks.
That's it, Amy. Pardon my language, but I have had it with you ruffling my petticoats. You and I are through.
Bring back Amy X Kiff. There's no shipping names, I just realized. Let's not forget that every lieutenant has a captain, and that's my least favorite. I despise him the most. It's Zap Brannigan. I didn't change that much. He has a long color palette. Also, he's kind of the worst. I mean, he's attractive to Leela, but he used to be because he was attractive to her mom, which also is a Cyclops. I didn't change that much, but I did realize I still had mirror mode. I gave him the fishnet socks, whatever they're called, the things that you see in strip clubs or the Animal Crossing clothings. You know what I'm talking about. I kind of made them purple because Leela, you know. You know what? I saved the best for last. It's Hermes Conrad. This time I did use a body reference like Mom, Scruffy, and Farnsworth. And Brannigan. I didn't change that much. I kind of lowered his bangs, and his hair was so hard to draw. And I drew his notepad. I didn't draw the pen. I didn't change that much. I just lowered his bangs, and that was all. I kind of changed his pants color. Yeah, he's a bureaucrat. He's a husband and son to Dwight and La Barbara. And that's all the Futurama characters redesigned. I really like how this turned out. My favorite redesigns are Leela, Amy, Fry, Zoidberg, and Carol.